Today I'm going to discuss something about gym mentality that I disagree with. I wrote some probably highly offensive articles that I called Aesthetics or Survival. And I believe that that's a problem with most people lifting weights. They're lifting weights because they want to look good, solely, purely. That's their focus. So I want to look good. That's a great goal for a female. It should be a secondary outcome for males. I was a fat kid growing up. Then I got really skinny fat early on in high school. I didn't start lifting weights really until the end of wrestling season my sophomore year. Before that, I had freshman PE, we lifted a little bit. I fucked around benching in the basement, but I didn't really lift. Did karate when I was 7, 8, 9 years old, and anytime you fucked up, sensei dropped you for push-ups or crunches. So I had a pretty good base of doing push-ups and crunches. That was 2nd through 4th grade. I stopped exercising 5th and didn't start exercising again until right before high school started. At the time, I was convinced that I was going to be a 0311 infantryman. Marine Corps rifleman, infantry. That didn't end up happening. But when I started exercising, that was what was in here. In my mind, I was going to be an infantryman. So, I started training thinking that I was training for war. I didn't really know anything about programming. I didn't really know any exercises. I didn't have access to any equipment. It was the summer between my 8th and 9th grade years. I was at my grandma's house. My grandfather had just passed away. It was something of a dark time for me. That summer, to give myself a purpose, to find some meaning in the world, and now factor in that I wanted to be an infantryman and thought that I was going to be going to war someday, I started training. And the intensity was higher than anything I've ever done since. The stuff, looking back, push-ups, crunches, it's not very hard. But I was fucking bringing it every night when I did that. I had a bedroll. Everyone would go off to bed at like 9:30, 10, and then I'd put the bedroll out on the living room floor. I'd wait till Lock Up Raw started on MSNBC, and particularly like the episodes that were like San Quentin and shit, the really bad rep prisons. So I would watch Lock Up Raw, and I'd start during the commercials near the end of it, or I'd wait till the end of the show. And that's when I started doing max rep sets of push-ups, max rep set of crunches. Only did about 3 sets of each, and I pretty much passed out after them. But what made them so special was that each set, I would push to where it was burning terribly. I'd be doing high reps and as many as possible. When I was near failure, I put it into my mind that not doing one more rep could be the death of me or my squad mates in the future. So I would extend sets, like resting downward dog or whatever, for lengths of time. And I would do one more, two more. I would get a handful more reps until I actually hit complete failure. But by doing this, as I said, this could be the death of me or my squad mates. It wasn't a positive reinforcement. It was a negative reinforcement. I was thinking that this could be the death of me if I pussy out. And I was thinking that I would regret. I'd be laying there bleeding in regret not having put that iota of extra effort that could make all the difference. So, my training starting off was from a different mentality. It was survival, not looks. I'm a little bit chubby. I've never been very lean. But I do look better than I did as a fat kid, as a skinny fat kid. Hell, I kind of look better now at 250 than I did at 200. But that's not the primary goal. And the point of this video initially was to be on the topic of PT. The gym's great. Weights are great. But you need to be training always, regardless. And I think, as I was saying earlier, what's wrong with gym culture is that people are only caring about lifting on a narcissistic level. There's much more powerful cores to operate on. And I'm not saying that I'm doing that right now. It was my roots. And when I get into that mentality, I find that it gets better. That training goes better. It's like that whenever I do a fight sport. High school wrestling, karate after high school, amateur sumo. When you're training for war, you're putting in more effort. It's that concept of, like, how do prison guys get jacked? They get jacked because they have to. It's a survival environment. My point to all this was, view your exercise in more of a survival, military PT mindset. Don't be purely going to look better. You're going to make better results regardless of what your programming is like when it's war that you're training for in your mind. Before my camera cuts out, I'm going to end it. Persistence and tenacity. Think about what I said, guys. I am out.